So learning to read music is not as complex as people might think. To start off, you need to know a few things, like the musical alphabet, how music is written, and which clef goes with which pan. So grab a pen and a paper, tablet, whatever you need, and let's get started. So number 1, music is written on a musical staff, and the staff has 5 lines and 4 spaces. Each of these lines and spaces has a letter name, and those letter names come from the musical alphabet. So you know our regular alphabet, right? It goes from A to Z and has 26 letters. Now the musical alphabet has 7 letters, going from A to G. And when it gets to G, then it starts back at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, starts back at A, B, C, D, and goes on and on. So back to the staff. Remember, 5 lines and 4 spaces. And the musical alphabet goes from A to G. Now there's something that we put on the staff that's called a clef. And the clef really helps us identify what letter name goes to what line and what letter name goes to what space. Now in pan, we use 2 types of clefs. We use the treble clef and the bass clef. Now I think it's best that you learn to read from both clefs. But just so you know, tenors, double seconds, guitar, cello, use the treble clef, and the bass, all basses, use the bass clef. Bear in mind, guitar and cello also use the bass clef. So that's basically all you need to start. So let's take a look at each individual clef and see how they help us identify the letter names of each line and each space. Treble clef. Remember, musical alphabet, A to G, 5 lines, 4 spaces. So let's start with the lines. Starting from the bottom, the first line is E, then G, B, D, and F. I was taught to remember this by saying words. I was taught every good boy does fine. And the other day I was thinking about some more pan related ways to remember it. So I came up with every good bass player delivers fire. No? Okay, this is not even about the bass pan, and I'm here talking about bass. Alright, let me stop the biasness. Now the spaces. Again, starting from the bottom, the spaces spell F, A, C, E. The spaces spell face. So putting it together, the notes on the treble clef are, the lines are E, G, B, D, F, and the spaces spell face. Now that the lines and spaces are together, it's actually the musical alphabet starting on E and repeating itself. So it goes to E, F, G, we're going to start back at A, B, C, D, E, F. Let's say I draw an imaginary line above the F line. What that does, it creates a space in between the F line and the imaginary line. And we could actually name that space following from the musical alphabet. If this was F, then this is G. If this was G, then we start over the musical alphabet again, and then this is A. And if I draw another imaginary line, then that space is B and that line is C. But that's the next video. On to the bass clef. Again, remember, 5 lines, 4 spaces, and the musical alphabet goes from A to G. So let's start with the lines. Starting from the bottom, the first line is G, B, D, F, and A. The words to remember this by, good bass players deliver fire, always. And the spaces, A, C, E, and G, and that's all cows eat grass. So put it all together, the lines are G, B, D, F, and A, and the spaces are A, C, E, and G. Now if you look at it, the lines and spaces are the musical alphabet, this time starting on G. So it's G, start back at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and start back at A. I could do the same thing as a treble clef. If I draw another imaginary line, that creates a space where I could continue the musical alphabet and I'll add a B, and I can name that line C. And if I continue with another imaginary line, the other space becomes D, and that next imaginary line becomes E. Those imaginary lines are called letter lines.